Ready? All right. Good evening. Welcome to our City Council meeting this Tuesday. Obviously, normally Monday, but this Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. We'll call this meeting to order. Appreciate everybody being here. I hope everybody, I say, hope you had a great weekend, I guess, weekend/Monday. So, but I hope everybody did. So we'll start off with the invocation and the pledge. Councilmember Smith.
Good evening. If you'd like to join me in prayer, you may do so. Oh, Heavenly Father, as we gather during this season of Thanksgiving, we give thanks for the privilege of serving our community and for the trust our residents place in us. We are grateful for the blessings of family, friends, health, and the shared sense of purpose that brings us together in this chamber. May we be reminded today of the values that strengthen our city, guide our thoughts and our decisions so that they reflect wisdom, fairness, and a genuine commitment to the well-being of all who call our community home. I pray that you cover us during this meeting. We ask for clarity as we address the matters before us, humility as we lead, and unity as we work towards solutions that uplift every resident. During this season of reflection, may we carry forward a spirit of generosity and thankfulness in all that we do. Let this meeting be productive, respectful, and rooted in service. Once all is said and done, I pray that you provide us with traveling mercies back home or whatever our next destination may be. We ask for these blessings in your precious name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is a proclamation. Ms. Teen, you guys say, I'll read it if that's cool. I mean, you come up, sure, that sounds great. So I'll read it first, and then I got to put on the glasses here. So this is a proclamation of recognition of achievement. Lydia Bartlett, Teen Miss Clemson 2025. Congratulations again. Whereas Lydia completed the title of Teen Miss Clemson on September 27, 2025, and is your current Teen Miss Clemson. Whereas Lydia's hard work and dedication has been demonstrated not only with her involvement with the Little Miss South Carolina pageant system, but also through her platform, #BeTheOne, standing up for those bullied due to medical conditions based off of her own experience being bullied due to type 1 diabetes. Whereas Lilia has also dedicated immense time and effort to spread awareness of and fundraising efforts towards finding a cure for type 1 diabetes. Whereas the City of Clemson salutes and applauds her tireless efforts and to let her and others with medical conditions know that they're not alone in this journey. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfaker, the Mayor of the City of Clemson, South Carolina, on behalf of all of City Council, do hereby congratulate Lydia on her efforts and wish her the best in her advancement to the state competition in July. Furthermore, we encourage citizens to follow her lead and be the one to stand up for those being bullied. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Clemson to be affixed this 18th day of November 2025. Congratulations again. Would you like to say anything? You don't have to. Peer pressure.
I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to represent the City of Clemson.
Cool. Awesome. We do pictures. You want to do pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do them. So there you go. Thank you for what you're doing. You okay holding up? There you go. That's fine. Come over.
Congratulations.
Yeah, do you want to take?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We appreciate y'all being here. Y'all want to come up?
Oh, yeah. We don't want to.
We'll have 2 seconds.
We don't want to. Photo bomb. Who's that?
You're like, ah. That's right. There you go. There you go. Congratulations again.
And they're all looking at me like this. Yeah.
Next, I'll turn it over to public session, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, so we're going to open the floor for public session. Just a reminder to the public that these are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and it is your opportunity to talk to us about anything that's not on the agenda already. I do like to note if you'd like to speak about anything that is on the agenda, we will make sure that you have time when we reach that point. But the floor is open. Perfect. Yes, Ms. Platt.
And while she's coming up, I didn't mention at the beginning, we obviously have ADA listening devices right by our city clerk, Jeremiah, so just a reminder.
Good evening. I was just wondering if the light at the main intersection that turns left off of 133 could be adjusted, because it's not letting a lot of cars go through that intersection. It only lets like 4 cars sometimes go through that intersection, and I've sat at that light for like 4 lights, and it's ridiculous.
You're talking about the main intersection?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I think it needs to be, adjusted. So traffic can flow at a steadier pace.
We can.
Mayor, may I address?
Well, I was gonna say, can I?
It's wildly inconsistent. Some days the traffic will be backed all the way up the hill, and it'll only let 2 or 3 cars through. And then other days it'll let 15 through at the same time of day. So we're working with DOT
That's
to
what I was
figure
gonna
out
say.
how to get it consistent. But
Because, it's really.
So for the next council member, I'm looking at Nathan back there, no pressure here. So, but can we find out on the synchronization, what's going on from DOT? We can have a report for the next, so thank you.
I was gonna say, I had already mentioned it to our city engineer, because I was stuck in that light.
Yeah.
So,
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
I think
appreciate it.
DOT knows.
Okay, the floor is open for anybody who'd like to speak. If you'll just sign in first for me. Thank you.
Hello. I have 2 questions today. My first question is downtown where there's Earl Street, Keith Street, and McCollum Street, is it possible that we can remove the paid parking that's required? As a college student, we're on limited budgets for our finances, and with downtown parking pay, it deters us from wanting to participate in businesses downtown. I was wondering if we could somehow remove the parking pay.
This is usually a session for us to get your feedback, and normally we don't have answers right
Yeah,
away.
sorry.
No, of course.
But if you put your contact information on there, we can make sure we follow up with you. But I don't
Of
want to cut
course.
into your time, so I'll let
No,
you.
you're okay. And then the second question is following that, I've had multiple friends talk to me about this. Is it possible to raise the number of days before a late charge is given on parking tickets? With that as well, like with some of my friends work on a consistent fixed income, and with the timelines, it has been improbable for them to pay on time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Hey, good evening, everybody.
Evening.
I'm not sure if this is an agenda item or not, so if not, if it is, I'll come back after. But I just wanted to follow up on the email that I sent you all earlier. When should I talk, now or later?
It's about the parking.
Is it about the parking?
Yes, and then everything else that was
So-
attached to it.
The parking one, we're gonna have an agenda item, you can come back up for that one, but then the other items I don't think are on the agenda, so you're welcome to do that.
Perfect, thank you. Hello, my name is Nanda Edgerton. I live at 213 Charleston. And I just wanted to follow up on some items that I had been in discussions with various city staff for a while that I haven't really have been resolved and kind of follow up. I've tried. I just need some answers to these things because they've been going on for a while. So we were just wondering what is going into that pit that's next to the police department. And also, what is the status of the affordable housing project on Highway 93? Those two lots that are kind of like kitty corner to the Walmart market. Haven't heard anything about that lately. Also, what is the status of the affordable housing project on Highway 76? Are there still plans to make College Avenue a 2-lane street from the Starbucks light to Edgewood? Where there'll be a dog park put up at 1 Clemson, that property, that like 1 acre that 1 Clemson donated to the city. One of the talks was there was gonna maybe be a dog park, but we haven't really heard anything about what's going on with any of that, so just wondering. Is there anything commercial going on at 1 Clemson? Because there's a plot at the bottom of it on like facing Lawrence Road, and it had realtor sign on it. And I had called the realtor because I wanted to ask them what they were looking for so I could possibly help and get maybe some businesses interested to contact them. And now the sign is gone, so I don't know, is there anything going there or is not going there? Should I continue to try to help with that or not? Is there another dog park being put up by the Art Center? And if so, what is gonna happen with a park that's not usable now, the new dog park that's by the pickleball courts over there at Nettles? And where's the entrance gonna, to the Art Center gonna be? Is it gonna be coming in from Porter Road or is it gonna be coming off of Central Road? And on the corner of Calhoun and Old Central Road, there were, I thought there was gonna be some plans for a Clemson Life group home to be put there. Is that still happening? And I had submitted some status, some changes to be made to the ethics policy because to me it was like contradictory. Some of it didn't make sense. Some sentences needed to be switched around. Shared that with Andy, forwarded to y'all, but I never heard anything back from it, so I was just wondering about that. And will there be a bigger, more functional bus stop structure be installed at the Old Central Road bus stop that's located at the bottom of the steps at 1 Clemson? Because right now there is a structure that was put up, but it's small and people can't sit or even get protected from the rain.
We did get a copy of
Thank
these in
you.
writing like you
Yep.
requested as well,
Yes.
so we'll work with Andy to get responses to you.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else? That's yours, sorry. I brought one too.
Okay.
Robert Lee, 103 Preston Drive, Clemson. I've been following with fascination the lawsuits against the city and trying to keep up with that. And I was disappointed that the subpoenas were quashed because I think that is information that is valuable to the public. And I don't think City Council is using its full authority to get that information. There's another way. City Council can issue subpoenas. So I don't know all the details of this, or if that's a possibility, but if it is, I'd like you to look into that, to get that public information from its, whether it's phone records that everybody else complied with, or anything else, whether conspiracy, because the whole conspiracy thing is still a big question mark in my mind. I'm not convinced either way about that. So I'd like you to look into getting all that information to the public, every possible authority you have to do that. And I can forward, I was reading state law that city council can do investigations of offices, and I would think, and I'm not sure, this is just speculating, but that would include prior offices of city council members, as long as there's some reasonable statute of limitations. So I'd like you to look into that more, and I will also. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Robert?
Any other comments from the public? I did have one submitted in writing. I'll go ahead and read that one. This comes from Johnette Nelson. She writes in from 210 Payne Lane, could we get a manger scene like what Seneca does for Christmas? And that is the extent of her comment. So again, that's Miss Nelson. And one last call for public comments. Okay, Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much. Next is the possible approval of minutes from November 3rd of 2025. Would somebody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, comments, questions, concerns? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next, we'll go into reports and discussion. Just a reminder to everybody, it's a 2-minute limit per speaker. First is to discuss the 2026 council meeting schedule. Jeremiah.
Already.
This is something that we do every year. Just go over the schedule for the next year. I piloted the changes in yellow from our normal dates. First one is due to the MLK holiday. Second one due to Labor Day, and the third one is due to our PCMA banquet. So all right with that schedule. The only possible change would be right around Labor Day. We could move that to the Tuesday before if you guys want. That would be on the 1st, but that's up to you guys, however you want to handle it. This is just how we handled it last year.
You mean the September instead of the
September
8th, it'd be the 1st, or the 8th, the 1st and the 8th?
We could do the 1st. Move
The
that
first
date
is-
to the 8th to the
Is it
1st.
first on Monday?
The 1st is the Tuesday. So
Okay.
it'd still be a Tuesday, so, you know, it wouldn't be Labor Day weekend that way, but it's kind of up to you guys, however you guys want to slice it.
Because Labor Day is the 7th.
Labor Day is the 7th, yes, that's correct. So
Oh, it's
that, like, if we
this
move it forward a week, that would be,
Then why does it have to be on a Tuesday if it's the 8th?
because that Monday is
Mondays.
Labor Day.
Is it, Labor Day's the 7th?
Labor Day's the 7th. That's why I
Oh,
was
it's
moving.
late, okay.
Yes, it's
Sorry.
late this year, so we could either do it, Tuesday the 1st, because it's already going to be a Tuesday either way. That's whatever you guys want to do.
I mean, I'm fine with a Tuesday on the 8th, if you guys are okay.
And that's how we handled it this year.
I mean, everybody looks okay?
Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise.
We appreciate all the work and
Yeah.
effort it takes to put this
Yes.
together, so thank you,
This
Jeremiah.
can always change and will change at some point, but this week we published this at,
Remind me why we're doing Tuesday in November, sorry.
For
PCMA meeting.
The
I knew that.
first
Thank you.
banquet last
Yeah.
night.
banquet last night.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks again. Next is staff reports. Andy.
Only a couple things for you. Reminding you that next meeting you have your public hearing on the comprehensive plan at 5:30 prior to your meeting. And then on the following meeting on the 15th of December, you're going to have the schematic design presentation for the Abernathy Park redevelopment project. That's going to be 1 hour prior to your meeting on the 15th.
So that'd be 5:30 again?
Yes.
So, since Andy's brought that up, I'm gonna ask to see if it's possible. That's Monday the 15th, right?
Yes.
If it's possible to move the meeting to Tuesday the 16th. I just found out I will not be able to be here the 15th, but I have a vested interest, like we all do, with the Abernathy. I'd love to hear it. So I was hoping that we could move it to the Tuesday the 16th.
December?
Yes, one day later.
Looks good to me.
I got it good here, that's good. I normally don't ask.
I have a conflict. But, I could do that early. We're starting at 5:30 then, or 6:30?
5:30. Also, oh, okay, we're not on the 16th. I'll be available on the 15th.
So I'm hearing some yay, nay, okay.
I don't know.
Don't know, okay. What I would, I'll put the request out, I would love to be here for the Abernathy presentation, so I would ask,
So you've got time to
yeah.
work it out with everybody.
So we'll just, okay, we'll talk about it, okay. We'll keep moving along, okay. Other comments?
That's all.
That's it? Okay, perfect. All right, next is policy action. Again, 2-minute limit if anybody, and really from the reports and discussion, but from policy, 2-minute limit per speaker. First is consider second reading of the installment purchase revenue bond ordinance. Andy, would you like to add anything on the second reading?
No, sir.
All right.
Have we gotten our rating?
Do we have an official indicator?
No, the rating on the bonds is public.
So that hasn't been public. Double A minus
Oh, okay.
is what we ended up with, which is very good. One notch below what we could assume the city's overall rating would be.
Was that what you anticipated?
We anticipated less than that, I think.
Okay, let me ask a silly question. What is less than that, a B?
No, so the rating categories, the highest rating category is a AAA,
Correct.
AA plus, AA minus, A plus, A minus, then it would get into the.
Just one
BB
single A, okay.
Correct. So the two major rating credit rating agencies consider anything that is AA or higher to be in the highest categories versus the high category. So a AA minus is a strong rating.
Yes.
For a city that is the size, population, demographic, economics for the city of Clemson.
And you don't know the interest rate yet?
We will not until the bond's price. I think that's still anticipated to be sometime the first week of December for the pricing.
Yes, and we're planning to close on the bonds on the 20th of December.
Okay, so not long.
So we'll know in about a month.
Okay. And have you got the nonprofit members
Yes.
together?
They actually had their first meeting yesterday at noon.
Okay, and how many are, I don't have to know, but how many, is it 5, 6 people?
3 members.
3 members, okay. And it went well?
Went very well.
Good. So we're moving right along.
Other comments? Appreciate the comments. Questions? Questions, comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion then?
I'll make a motion that we approve the second reading of installment purchase revenue bond ordinance.
A second.
Any other comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is on the resolution side, is to consider a resolution regarding an installment purchase revenue bond. Andy.
The reason you do the resolution is because this is what acknowledges that you've given the corporation over to the board of directors and that they're going to independently borrow the money.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this is what we talked about in like the very beginning of this process, right? Like very, very beginning.
Questions, comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion on the resolution?
I make a motion that we approve the resolution regarding the installment purchase revenue bond.
Second.
Comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is to consider a resolution committing the city of Clemson to the goal of 0 traffic fatalities and serious injuries by the year 2040. This commitment is required by the FHWA SS4A grant and aligns with the Vision Zero initiative. Nathan?
So, similar for what we discussed last time, no changes.
Thank you. Questions, comments for Nathan? Yes.
I do have a question. When I was reading through this again, I just have a general question. Is Clemson University, we're in partnership with Clemson University for this. Are they as committed as we are?
Yeah, so we're planning, once we wrap up the action plan development, we'll do quarterly meetings with members of their staff, members of our staff, to make sure that we're acting consciously together to
Perfect.
with a similar goal.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Any other questions, comments from the public?
Robert Lee, 113, again. This is having to do with bicycle lanes. I think that might be flagged up, maybe not. But whenever I ride my bicycle, the bicycle lane is maybe this wide between the curb and the white line. By the time you avoid all the junk that's not cleaned up, you got about this much. So that might be something to consider, better street cleaning to keep that lane this wide so you can really stay over close to the covers. Right now, to avoid junk, you got to be out there closer to that white line. So that maybe is one of the things would fall under the, I don't know, the learning and improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, so we have a fancy new street
Aren't we
sweeper,
getting
right?
a new
We used to
sweeper?
have to borrow the universities because we were aware of this problem and they would let us use it, but we've since bought a real big one.
Yeah, we bought a new street cleaner.
We can
I think that's great feedback.
Yeah.
And I got a question. Doesn't part of this process include making, there are different tiers of bike lane, and doesn't this make it a safer bike lane that has actually a curb between the bike lane and the cars?
So that is one, so like,
One
this is
piece
for,
of it.
that's for is a generalized safe streets for all, so it means bus riders, vehicle drivers, truck drivers, bicyclists, pedestrians, trying to focus it holistically. And one of the things that it does look at is doing improvements from where you have no facilities to adding facilities for pedestrians and bicycles, to improving facilities in areas that we have, where we have a tier that's like similar to 193 and doing improvements on that.
Yeah, because there's like a tier where there's a white line between you and the traffic, but there's a higher tier where there's actually a curb and plantings and stuff between both the bike lane and the sidewalk and traffic.
And then multi-use paths and everything else associated with it. So. All right.
Thanks.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, good. Other comments from the public?
My name is Colin Craig. I live at 205 Tool Court, and I understand that I have to say that. To kind of build off of what they're saying with the goal of zero traffic fatalities, over on the corner of Issaquena Trail and Cambridge Drive, there's a Translock bus stop right there, and I'm trying to, I don't know how to word it properly, if it's able that we can get a bus, like a little bench or like a little shading provided there, because I've seen numerous students standing there in harsh conditions, and I too have been there, walked from my apartment complex from 205 Tool Court. In addition to that, kind of along that Issaquena Trail line from the Lowe's to that bus stop, it's a unsafe terrain to walk from given late hours or early mornings, and maybe a sidewalk or I normally walk in the bike lane that's kind of there, and just kind of my concern is more bus stop facilities, like stop shadings for stops on the bus transit routes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We've started as a family trying to walk to a coffee shop on Saturday mornings, and the world around you really opens up when you are out of your car, the things that you see when you're walking. So I think those are both awesome feedback points. I think if we can include in part of this our goal to have a covered bus stop at every bus stop, I think that would be phenomenal. I know sidewalks are maybe take some collaboration with the state. I'm happy to help be the squeaky wheel there because I know that's a very well traversed street. And we want to encourage students and community members to be walking, and they are, but let's make it safer. So awesome feedback. Thank you guys.
You know, you're talking about the intersection of Cambridge, and it is, yeah, I've already brought that up. I mean, I think there's a discussion about that ultimately, that whole interchange will look differently. And I think it's gonna take that, making it look different to make it safe, the way it's set up right now.
A little history on that too. It used to be a hole right there. We've talked to DOT, Nathan, you correct me if I'm wrong. We talked to DOT and they came in and filled that spot to make it, but it's still, we can enhance and go further beyond that. That was the start. I'm just giving you the history of that.
It's a little pad.
It wasn't even, it was, people were just, and it was, yeah. But it has been filled in, which you know now, but there's, well, that's probably the best way to say it, so, yeah.
And yes, Queen is just dangerous.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But thank you. Oh, here comes Nathan. Maybe not. He's coming up.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Talking to Andy.
Other public comment?
I've heard a lot of comments about it. Let's talk about the major plan for that whole intersection.
Yeah, you could, yeah, you want to talk, yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Pertaining to that intersection, is there not a possibility we could put a stoplight there instead of four-way stop?
Stephanie, actually, Nathan's getting ready to talk about the
What a perfect
updates.
segue.
You just teed it up. You teed it up. Nathan, why don't you, yeah.
So a little bit of history on the Cambridge, Zaguina intersection. DOT has done multiple studies on that. They have basically told us that we're one development away from a traffic signal. But you have to meet the warrants, so like, you know, every time, and we are lucky that everybody's kind of within the same district, so DOT is constantly monitoring this. They've done a lot of review on this. Their preference is actually going to be a roundabout at that intersection and not a traffic signal. Ally is put in for congressional appropriations that would actually, so if it gets approved, so if the budget was to get approved last week, it would have that money would go straight to District 3 to perform the work for that project. So that would not be a city performed project, it'd be a city assisted with the funding, but DOT would do all the design and construction and the property acquisition would be required to put that roundabout in. So most likely that's going to be that will be a DOT project. The timeline's questionable, and I will say that because they don't know if they're going to get the funding, and if they don't get the funding, it is in their traffic plan, but we're fighting. District 3 is Coney, Pickens, Greenville, Spartanburg, so it's a very large district. So we're competing with everybody for the same same funding mechanisms, whether it's safety or traffic improvement. And so one of the things that they'll probably be looking at as a reason is that's the reason they're constantly monitoring it with other developers, is if a development does come in and it does trigger it to that next level to where it does warrant either a signal or roundabout, they would require that developer to put that installation in.
This that y'all are already like thinking ahead about could not happen without more people living. Is there a requirement on like how far they live from it?
No, it is the projected use of the intersection.
So just the number of people we expect to pass through
Correct.
it. Vehicle
Yes.
use?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
In this project, we were in the GPATS MPO prior to 2 years ago. We moved to the ACATS Anderson area.
Right.
And so it moved this project up on their transportation improvement plan where we were pretty low on the GPATS list. It is pretty high on the ACATS list.
And then also this project is will be highlighted in the LRTP, which the long-range transportation plan for the region we're going to do, that's really going to be a recommendation to ACATS. So Issaquena itself is a complete street request, is the proposed project for that. So starting at 93, going all the way to Pendleton Road, so that is a full, complete rebuild of that entire road. So that is a project that will be recommended as one of our top recommendations. We're looking at them we're prioritizing right now, but it will be one of the top recommendations. That will go in, ACATS is going through their Vision 2050, so they do a 30-year lookout. They're going through their process right now. Our LRTP is going to be finished, and we're going to be making recommendations to their Vision 50.
so that our how many recommendations for the area between basically here and 85 gets put into the recommended list for ACADS.
If that doesn't happen, we don't get that funding, that project isn't done by somebody else, can we continue to look into ways to improve Issaquena for pedestrians?
We can definitely look into other ways of doing it. And one of the things that we are doing is we have, that is on our bikeways plan for future improvements. And so we're looking at other avenues that would kind of probably, you might build some things that get destroyed, but you're working together.
I think that corridor is so heavily populated, and there are people that want to walk to things that they can actually, you can walk to the grocery store, you can walk to Lowe's, you can walk to Patrick Square and go to dinner, but they just physically can't do it right now. I think top of the list, for sure.
Well, this project has been extremely high priority for us, on staff level especially. I mean, I know it'd be nice for DOT if a developer were to come in and then they paid for it for them. But in the meantime, we're doing everything we can to get it done as soon, including participating in this grant, doing the long-range transportation plan, and going to get federal money fed in here, working with the MASC to lobby for more equitable distribution of C funds for municipalities. We're pushing it as hard as we can. In theory, all these things are supposed to move this project to the top of the list.
That's what I was gonna ask, is all of this work that y'all are doing, does that help prioritize it for the decision makers?
Say we didn't get the congressional appropriations, it never came forward. Moving that forward into the ACATS list, it goes from the STIP to the TIP, which are the statewide transportation improvement plans and transportation improvement plan. When it moves to those different things, it prioritizes them from when you're in the TIP, they ask for you to then move into design. So you go into conceptual design, land acquisition, because you're going to go around about, you're going to have to use a land acquisition at a corner. And so kind of doing that conceptual design, land acquisition required, and then when it moves into the statewide transportation improvement plan, it'll have a funding mechanism and funding deadline for bringing the money in from the state to fund that project to be able to bring it into fruition.
And it's ranked very high.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks for the feedback.
Hi, me again. I just wanted to bring it to your all's attention, in case you're not aware, about the people, everybody who lives in that corridor, Issaquena and Cambridge, all those apartments are up and down Issaquena. It's not just people from those apartments that go to the bus. I've noticed, because I could go up and down that road all the time. And I've noticed, that church that's right there, I've noticed that a lot of students from Clemson park their cars in their parking lot and then take the bus. So they cross the street from that church, and sometimes it was really, oh my God, they almost got hit. So I cringe sometimes when I'm at that four-way stop. So just keep that in mind too, that there's a lot more people besides who live there that use that little and try to cross the street. So it's pretty dangerous. I didn't know if you were aware of that, Nathan.
Thank you.
Other comments? All right, would somebody like to make a motion on the resolution?
I make a motion that we approve the resolution committing the city to the goal of 0 traffic fatalities and injuries by 2040.
Second.
Comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is other policy items. Consider a naming right policy. Councilmember Cheryl.
Sure, we discussed this last meeting with appreciation to Andy. The 3 minor edits were made to the policy. One was to make sure we simplify the language regarding the council's right to remove any name. Another was a suggestion by Councilwoman Evans to reduce the requirement to have letters, because that was not clear. And another, we clarified that the staff had the authority to do minor naming things for things like benches and trees. So I think that with those edits and adjustments, it's shaping up nicely.
I do have a question. Timeline for consideration. I think this was discussed, and I don't remember. Council will consider requests annually at the first meeting of the fiscal year. So that would be January.
No,
So,
No, July.
July. Sorry, it does say yeah, so it'd be July.
Those are so few and far between. I started with 1 year, but I mean, situationally.
And we can change it if necessary. Okay,
I'm sure there's gonna be project deadlines, all kinds of things that get in the way of that.
gotcha.
Other questions or comments from the public?
Robert Lee, 113 Presley again. I have a question about the language in here that came up also in the previous topic, but its use is inconsistent in that, I know what equity means from more basic financial stuff, so I can figure that out. But when equity is used in different ways, there's also equity in law, which is a thing I was reading a lot about that. So when you say equitable, one of the synonyms that comes up is also impartial. Does that mean impartial? It's really a unclear, confusing, inconsistent thing to say this equitable, because it's, well, what does it mean? I mean, it's just a really confusing, inconsistent thing. Equity in law, you read back, and it's probably related to equity in law, which means a judge can decide this kind of equity where the common law is not maybe fair, but that's a judge's authority. So when you get to saying who's deciding what's equitable, it's just a word that throws in a big question mark and confusion for me, and whether in this or anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? All right, somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the naming rights policy as presented.
Second?
Comments? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is consider awarding a contract for the 2025 Comprehensive Parking Study to Walker Consultants in the amount of $74,895 even. Becca, yes.
Good evening.
Evening.
I don't really have anything different from last time. We do have an amount this go around, which is super exciting because it is under what we budgeted for the fiscal year. We're going to focus on the administrative reviews first to include violations, fee schedule, wayfinding, signage, and all of that before we start doing the observations and the public surveys. We're looking to start that in January. And I'm here for questions.
I've looked at the letter that Walker Consultants sent you with their scope, I think, of delivery or whatever you call that, scope of services. And it says, you said that it would start in January, it'll take a year, because it says here, project by December 2026.
I believe.
Is that what their conservative?
Actually, their conservatives is that it's going to take roughly 4 months to conduct, and I'm trying to figure out what page that was on.
It is on page 3, 1.1.
If you look at page 9, where they have this schedule, Walker states that they believe it's going to take 4 months to do completion of all of the combined tasks. Right above the chart for the professional fees.
Schedule. It's
All right, so section 1.1 is different, so they might want to get that. It says completing the project by December 2026. Who is the city's review team? Is that someone on staff or is
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
Okay.
The selected review team is going to be myself, Jacob Peabody is the zoning administrator because they're going to be going over land usage, and Nathan Hinkle.
Okay, that's great. That's just mentioned that.
Yes, ma'am, we were part of the initial review team that went through the bids and did interviews.
Perfect. this is, what kind of study did we do before we put out the meters and the parking for that?
I cannot speak to that because that was prior to me becoming parking manager.
Okay. So I'm just wondering why we are doing something so quickly after just initiating the meter parking.
So the scope of this is going to be much broader than just whether or not the pay to park is relevant to where we are.
realize
We're
that.
also going to be doing, I do believe that the wayfinding and the signage is probably going to be one of the biggest benefits we get out of this, because it's going to be a third party coming in and looking at all of the existing signage and how we can benefit from changing it potentially, whether it's more signs, less signs, how to sign. And I do think that's going to be something that really benefits. We're going to look at, I'm not sure. I can ask Lindsay Newton, she was the parking manager.
I got that.
Well, I'm not, I mean no disrespect, I'm just asking a question.
I get it. We just did an RFP for a metered parking solution.
There you go.
And we just wanted to make sure that, how far will someone walk before it's unreasonable to have a meter? Those types of things. And they recommended, the locations and rate structures and those types of things. Then apps, common practices. This here is going to look at that system holistically with all of our parking assets, and it may recommend changes to
Well, I
that.
think the biggest thing that stands out to me in this plan is it is also trying to help predict based on what we are anticipating as a city our need might be. So that to me is the biggest piece of this puzzle. That would be different than anything we might have done before.
Part of the documents we'll be giving to Walker Consultants will include information regarding the hub, 398 College, and these developments that are currently going in, as well as the streetscape for downtown and everything.
Right.
So they can take all of that into consideration whenever they do their math.
Yeah.
What I like about it is how they're gonna dig in with the stakeholders. They're gonna talk to the people who are using the parking spaces.
Yep.
And what they're using them for, when they're using them, all that kind of stuff.
And the people who aren't using them. Yes, ma'am.
I think it would be helpful to explain why it takes this study versus someone, say your staff, trying to do such a comprehensive plan in studying our parking trends and the forecasting for the future and looking at this holistically.
I think that it's better coming from a professional consultant company who is aware of what they're doing, as opposed to, I don't have the knowledge regarding, I'm not a certified parking professional, it's something I'm working towards, but it is not something I've completed. I don't have the knowledge to be able to provide you accurate information and logical recommendations as to what needs to be changed. Coming from a consultant company who's done this for other municipalities, whether it's a hospital campus or an actual municipality, they have the historical know-how to do it.
And there's no favoritism.
No.
There is completely a third party that knows nothing about
Exactly.
anything down.
There's no risk of bias based on complaints I get or recommendations I get from the public. This is going to be somebody coming in with a blank slate, looking at our program, policies, violations, fees, what we charge for pay to park and everything, and giving us a completely holistic look without any of the potential gray area that we have downstairs working in this program.
And I think the key is to what Amy just said, stakeholders. So we'll have an opportunity to talk with the very.
On page, I have it marked. They do discuss, they actually call out the work session they intend to have with you guys on page 6. So once they do these stakeholder meetings and the public surveys are well underway, they're going to compile that data and have a meeting specifically with council. So it's on page 6. Yes, ma'am.
3.2. Or 3.2.
I think this is very timely, given the public comment that we had earlier, so I'm glad you're here for this.
Yes.
Because I would assume that the prices of parking and things like that will all be included
Yes,
in the study.
whenever we did the interview there, we asked for a comparison of local municipalities anywhere from 10 miles to 100 miles out. So they're also gonna be looking at Anderson, closer to Anderson University, to see how they do stuff over there. Greenville, closer to Furman, Spartanburg, over by Wofford University. They're actually gonna be looking at Asheville as well.
Great.
They're trying to tie in some of the municipalities that are closer to universities.
Robert may have a question. Oh, sorry. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, so just to make sure, since it is, that scope of work does say they have a year, just emphasizing that they have to complete it by August without, and obviously they can ask for extensions if they need.
Well, I think the goal right
If it's
now-
justified, I mean, but their scope is to be finished by August with a thorough report. So, I mean, because of the vagueness that was brought up, we want to make sure.
Right. I do kind of like having it until December 26th in case we decide to push for additional home game observations. I know that that's something that
If that's
Adam has
justified,
brought up several
absolutely.
times,
yeah.
but with as late in the season as we're coming in right now, we're not going to be able to get those in-person observations that we're wanting. So giving us that December 26th kind of gives us that little bit of leeway if we decide.
That makes sense.
I did not even think about
To
that.
come
I
back.
figured that had something to do with it,
Yeah,
but
when
I
I
just
spoke
wanted to
to
ask.
Jim with Walker, it was one of the things we decided that if we needed to amend the contract next year, it's something we could definitely go back and consider as we go forward with the study.
Great.
Appreciate you.
Thanks. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying late for us.
Comments from the public?
Too late.
2 minutes isn't gonna be long enough. It's gonna have to be. Don Deserton again. None of this makes sense to me about spending $74,000 on a third party for a parking, whatever. So, no disrespect, it's common sense. To me, we have fabulous staff at the city. We have parking enforcement people that are out there every day living all the problems that may occur, may not occur. Why can't they conduct what we need to know, like find the information and have it part of their workday? And if we have specific questions that we only think that a consultant can answer, maybe we can just do a survey and send it out to the residents if it involves answers from residents. Anything to save the $74,000 and put it to better use. Because to me, anytime that we hire a consultant for anything, it just seems like it's a waste of money. That maybe other ways, things can be resolved in other ways than saving that money and reallocating it to other things, like maybe putting speed bumps up on Mountain View instead of trying to paint a roundabout. That, Nathan, it's not gonna work, I'm just saying. But please, if you can just put this on hold and not award this tonight, not vote to award it tonight, or let's everybody think about it some more, about alternative ways to conduct this study. It might be a good idea. Just a suggestion, just my 2 cents. But I think that our parking enforcement staff is very good. They're very knowledgeable. They live it every day. They know what the issues are. And if they can't answer questions, again, just to reiterate, maybe we can do a survey and send it out to the residents and get their input. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have to agree with Nanda. I think that the issue that hasn't been mentioned, it's rather surprising no one's brought this up, is that currently there's a parking structure being built on Perimeter Road. It's going to contain spots for 1,700 cars. It's under construction. We all know about that. So the parking we're talking about, is it largely the percentage of students or percentage non-students? That's my question. And if the percentage of this is going to be a study on students, well, of course there's going to be a parking problem. They took away 1,700 spots, according to somebody, I'm not sure, someone in the city told me that we've lost a lot of spots because of construction, the new Forester building, and other construction. So we've lost roughly, I was told, 1,700, and we're trying to build back the 1,700 on perimeter behind the cemetery. And so we're doing a study, so of course it's going to look bad because that parking structure is not complete yet, and we've taken away 1,700 spots. So brings the question, is now the right time, or should we wait until this other structure has been completed for this type of study? I don't know. That's my comment.
Thank you.
To be clear, we are not Clemson University.
Yes, yes, please make that
Just so
statement.
everybody knows, we are not Clemson University.
We're Clemson.
But I think it's also very important, you guys, that it sounds to me like they are going to consider our surroundings and plan for all of this and take things into consideration. But no, I don't think that this parking study will focus on student parking.
No,
I think it will focus
no.
on
Business,
Or
downtown
university
parking.
or university
Parking.
parking. Yeah,
This
yeah.
is about Clemson City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very clear in the proposal, at least to me, that they will be considering the parking structures that are being constructed on city properties in the city zoning and not on campus, so.
Well, I mean, are we not addressing a concern that we heard? Well, I don't go downtown because there's no parking. I can't find any parking. So we're trying to address that through this study of a third party that knows not, that's gonna come in and look at this like a blank slate, like Rebecca said. And, be interesting to see what they come up with. And maybe we won't have, maybe there'll be parking available and the meter will be less or maybe non-existent, we don't know. So,
My understanding was pretty much the top complaint in the city is traffic and parking is close behind.
Yep.
So this is to learn about the parking issue.
yes.
Also, this was in our budget
Yes.
before we ever
Yes.
got here.
Yes.
This was
It's
in
in
our
the
budget.
budget.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's $15 under regular.
One last thing I will, this is coming from a recommendation from our planning department
Yeah.
to move forward.
Yeah.
And Nathan,
A recommendation of the downtown merchants from the DAC committee is how, I wanted to interject earlier, of how we got meters. It all rose up out of comments from downtown merchants and our economic development committee at the time, talking about the need for on-street parking. Parking meters, because those businesses survive on turnover. And the meters exacerbated that. So that's how this arose, so. Yeah.
thank you.
I would just add too, it's important when consultants come in, if we're looking at consulting, because they bring such a view that we have not necessarily been able to look at. And so as a professional, this is what they do for a living. And so it's very impactful. And sometimes our staff are in it, and so they may not be as objective. And so a consultant generally does help in so many ways. And even if you use others to consult, there still may be a fee or some type of cost to do so. So I think in order to address a lot of the issues we're talking about, this will be beneficial for us as a city, because then we can talk about, yes, we did a study, and this is what was determined, and be able to use the data, because the data is so important. If you can do that in a way that feels neutral, objective, and we're not all in it ourselves. And so I think it's always beneficial to have that outside perspective looking in.
I would say that almost on another side of this, and I'm very flattered about the comments and the confidence we have in the people making the comments, but this is a very specialized topic. It involves engineering, it involves social behaviors, identification of who your customers are, who the parkers. We are only limited to what we know. These people deal with parking solutions all over the world and will have unique perspectives and things we could never have thought of based on just years of experience and vast body of knowledge. I would say, for the opportunity, you'd certainly not want to be limited to what we have in-house. You would certainly, I would say, you can't afford to not do this to make sure that you have the most comprehensive way to use your assets as efficiently as possible to serve the most amount of people as possible.
For a long time.
Other comments?
Colin Craig, and 205
Court. I would like to agree with moving the contract extension to end of 2026 because I know that you guys aren't the university, but they have been discussing changing the parking policies for freshmen. And I feel like, excuse me, I feel like if the study went through the entire calendar year to determine the parking population for the spring semester and the fall semester could lead insightful results instead of just focusing on moving it for a sports amendment with the football games. As we know, it can get pretty crowded. And I will say I would say having the consultant is a good opportunity instead of not having it, because that third party point of view could be insightful, as you guys were mentioning, to make sure that we don't see different perspectives. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't think about their policies.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
either.
another gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very valid.
He needs to come back.
Hired.
Yeah, you're hired.
Any other comments? Well, would somebody like to make a motion? Nope.
Squirrel.
Stephanie Platt, Lane. Now, is the university gonna expect the city to provide parking for students since they're gonna do away with the bridge and freshman parking next year?
No,
No.
Okay.
it's not our job.
That's not our job.
Well, I mean, how about all the spaces that were promised for residents at these developments that are gonna be first come, first serve? I mean, are those guaranteed
Once
for
it's been
residents?
negotiated through PDs, we'll have the exclusive use of and enforcement authority over. Yeah, we made sure that was buttoned up. And part of the study here is to make sure that downtown isn't a remote parking lot for Clemson University. That is a piece of this.
So why didn't the city buy the land where the old Western Sizzling was and put a parking deck there, parking garage, instead of a car wash? So, I mean, that would have been, more parking for people for 123, restaurants and students right there at the college. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we award the contract for a do you want to say 2025 or 26, doesn't matter, for the comprehensive parking study to Walker Consultants in the amount of $74,895.
Second.
Any other comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next is mayor, council reports, comments, new business. I'll start off very quickly. Kudos to the person to my right. Depending on how you're looking, could be your left. Jeremiah did a fabulous job with the Pickens County Municipal Association banquet. Thank you very much.
Good job.
For the public, it was a great event, 175 people, recognizing all first responder, well, I shouldn't say all, but designated first responders from each department, each municipality, every county agency. They nominated him or her to be the recipient of the award, to be that person, the first responder of the year, and I thought it turned out really well thanks to Jeremiah's effort. And also Blue Ridge Electric was a tremendous help, not only financially sponsoring the banquet, but also they helped a lot with the planning, so we appreciate that as well. So kudos, and pretty much majority of council was there, and I greatly appreciate that, so thank you very much. The other thing, if you haven't seen, it was announced this weekend, we have state champions first time in volleyball. I know they're gonna possibly come in next city council meeting, but a major congratulations to the 17U volleyball team for winning the state championship this past Saturday, defeating Pickens to bring home the title. Again, this is the first time we've had a state champion in volleyball, so congratulations to that team. So, other comments?
Sorry,
You go ahead.
Soccer team, the girls 12U and the girls 10U teams will be competing at state this weekend in Florence. Claire will be there with her team, so send all of the good vibes and congratulate them when you see them. They're very excited. I believe the 8U are also upper state champs. I'm not sure, but the Parks and Rec Facebook page has done a fabulous job bragging on these teams, so be sure to check them out. They've been working very, very hard, and they deserve all the congratulations.
Well said.
I was invited, or had the privilege to go to the General Robert Anderson monument dedication over in Old Stone Church Cemetery. It was this past Saturday on his 284th birthday, and it's the start of the 200th anniversary of Anderson County, who it was named for Robert Anderson. And Rusty Barnes, the county administrator, talked about how Andrew Pickens and Robert Anderson were best friends growing up, and how appropriate it is now that they're both buried in Old Stone Church and their counties are next to each other. So because I represented the Clan Smith of Scotland, I was invited, and it was a very, very nice ceremony. So.
Just one quick thing, appreciation to Bree and Lauren Gamrat. The JCUAB Heart Committee is trying to do more to get information out of the community about things that are on Clemson's campus that are open to the community. As an example, there's a planetarium show tomorrow night at Kynyard, so anybody want to encourage people in the community to come to that. And I also want to congratulate our director of the Arts Center for being featured at New York City MoMA Museum. I'm leading a presentation seminar on one of our programs. It's a big deal. So congratulations.
And I just want to echo, although Mayor is giving kudos to Jeremiah, but also congratulate Robert for doing such an awesome job leading the Pickens County Municipal Association and speaking at the banquet last night. So he doesn't give himself enough credit. So I just want to say he did an awesome job and is continuing to represent and serve our community.
Third year.
So he's doing a fabulous job. So I wanted to congratulate you also on a job well done last night. So appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
You might get to quit your day job.
I need that day job. I need that. Take care of my family. Any other comments? New business? All right, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Any comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. Have a great week.